Welcome to another episode of Third Eye on the Prize. Doorways to presence are always available to us. There are things in our everyday life that can help us disengage from ego and engage with presence, which some call awareness or clarity or spaciousness or truth. Being awake and open, not trapped in delusion or distortion. The 4 doorways I want to talk about are intuition, embodiment, beauty, and pain. Today's episode focuses on intuition. In subsequent episodes, I'll address the other 3. Okay, so let's start by asking, what is intuition? It's not emotion. I think the word intuition is often misunderstood by English speakers as being a feeling. Yes, but we also sometimes use the word feeling to mean emotion, so it can get muddy. Let's try to be more clear. The way I define intuition is the capacity humans have to receive messages that come from beyond our small individual self. In other words, not just something I'm coming up with all on my own. Not a belief or an opinion, not a supposition or a speculation, not something cooked up by my ego or desire or willpower. It's a message that if I'm open to it, I receive via the intuitive channel that is built into me and you. When we learn to recognize the voice of intuition, it has its own unique quality. I recognize the messages I get the way I do the voice of a loved one or a friend. To be clear, though, I don't hear audible voices. I don't see visions or auras, though I know people who do. I'm using the word voice a little more poetically or metaphorically. For me, these messages have an unmistakable quality. It's very subtle, but also distinct. Sometimes it's a few words or a phrase. Sometimes a nudge to do something or not do something. Other times it has more urgency, like, okay, do it right now. I've been receiving intuitive messages for decades, maybe my whole life, though I didn't identify them as such until later on in my spiritual development. And I can't stress this part enough. When these messages come, I always follow them, without exception. I'll explain more about that in a minute, because another key component of intuitive messages is they come unbidden. I can't demand it. It actually comes when I'm not trying to get it to come. This is an important point. It's very similar to the way inspiration comes to artists. The rational or analytical mind has to be disengaged or relaxed. If I'm in the grip of ego, even a little bit, it won't come. So it might happen upon first waking up in the morning, coming into consciousness from sleep, or while doing something physically exerting, or in a chill, relaxed state, or in a state of awe or enjoyment. It just pops up and appears. Gentle but firm, subtle but clear. Don't confuse gentle with tentative. It's not tentative at all, just the opposite. Intuitive messages, though incomplete, have a quality of certainty. But there is another aspect to them that I've experienced. If the message refers to something close in time, it's stronger and more clear. If it's referring to something far off in the future that won't happen for a while, it may be quite faint. Once a teacher of mine told me that intuition is 50%, which at first I didn't really understand. Then my intuition told me what that means. The intuitive message doesn't provide the whole picture of something. I like to use the metaphor of a jigsaw puzzle to explain this. When you do a puzzle, you put a few pieces together, maybe starting with the edges, right? Then you keep going. Now imagine you have half the pieces in place. but they're not all together in one clump. They're scattered here and there with spaces in between. You're getting a sense of the whole, but there are missing parts. An intuitive message is just like that. The part you've received, you can absolutely count on as true, without any doubt. But the rest of it isn't there. And this is exactly the way I experience these kinds of messages, with a sense of certainty mixed with a sense of mystery. And this is where we have to call upon another of our built-in powers, namely the power of faith. The great poet Rabindranath Tagore said this: "Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark." Feeling the light, though it isn't there yet, is the certainty. Singing when it's still dark, maybe cold out. In other words, taking the action. That's faith. So, here's where we have to demonstrate some balls, some fortitude, deciding to act because I know the part I've been given is indisputable. I trust it. But if I'm waiting for the whole thing to appear, for all the puzzle pieces to show up before I act, I'm not going to get the gift. This precious gem of truth, still partially obscured. It's up to me to act on it anyway. Like all practices, we get better by doing. First is recognizing the intuitive voice, then exercising faith by acting on it, then finding out through experience whether that really was the intuitive voice or was it some other voice kind of throwing you off the track. If you don't act on it, you're not really experiencing the depth of your intuition at all. You're just being in your doubt mind. We still have to use common sense and life experience and reasoning and maybe asking others for help at times. But trusting that unshakable part, it's like getting a whisper in the ear from God. As always, thank you for listening. Until next time, keep your third eye on the prize and remember, truth is beyond belief.